All right, so I was writing some stuff out at Tim Hortons, and I was watching how the employees interacted with their boss, and I got the idea for this video because I've dealt with both being appreciated at work and with not being on the good side of the head honcho at work or my boss. And I want to talk about how to become your boss's best friend. So what do people typically do in order to get a good reputation at work? They typically think, oh, do I work overtime? Do I work a lot? Do I try to help? Or do I just stay out of the way? Do I try just to not mess things up? I remember, I know what it's like to walk on eggshells around somebody who's your boss, to just try not to screw things up. And that was a strategy I tried. It doesn't really work that well because inevitably, if you're just thinking about not fucking up, eventually you're going to fuck something up, and then you're not actually focusing on what's important. So, just look at my notes here. You have to understand what your boss wants. And I know that's kind of hard. If you think that your boss is a dick and you've got no hope and you just hate that person and you just want a video to make you feel better, you should probably click off this video, because I'm not here to cater to your emotions. I'm here to give you practical tips on how to actually become somebody who's valued at the workplace. As I'm going to tell you, the important thing to remember, take a deep breath, think rationally, think logically. Understand what your boss wants. Everybody wants to be understood. Also, your boss wants to be benefited. He or she wants to feel like that when you show up to work, their life is going to benefit and the company is going to benefit, and you are actually contributing by being there. For a lot of people, just simply doing your job and showing up on time can make that happen, right? And it can get you on your boss's good side. But let's say expectations are a little bit higher than that at work. Know what your boss wants. Understand them. So what would make their life easier? And you can actually straight up ask your boss, or you can pay attention to their behavior and really think about ways to make your boss's life easier at work. Usually your boss has a boss. So usually they're in the same boat as you. They have to make sure that their boss is happy as well. And I know for this one company that I worked for, my boss had a boss, and whenever I made him look good, it benefited him in front of his boss. So how do you make your boss look good? Well, you fulfill the obligations of work. So we talked earlier in this video about okay, what do you do? Do you work overtime? Do you just stay out of his way? Do you just get your job done? That can work, but what I found is asking what would make your boss, actually asking your boss, straight up. You can ask yo, what would you like me to do these next 2 weeks? And then here's the very important part, to make life easier for you or to make the job go better. And then once you get that answer, you actually have to follow through with what you say you're going to do. Literally showing up on time and then doing the thing that you and your boss talked about, being reliable. It's actually difficult to find employees that do that, especially if you're at a smaller company and there's a lot of college kids working there. It's hard to find somebody who's reliable. So being that person who actually does what they say they're going to do, and also is just there, taking the extra work day to cover somebody else's shift. I know a lot of people don't like to do that and they feel like they're being walked all over at work, but that's completely in your control if you want to be that person. You can view it as a negative, oh man, my boss is going to ask me to work on a Saturday. Or you can say, oh, I heard this employee is probably not going to be able to work Saturday. I'll take that shift. It feels less like you're being controlled if you actually take control and you just go, all right, I'm going to be the best employee that I can be. It's a win-win because you're taking control of your life. You're earning extra money for taking the extra hour or the extra day of hours. and you're taking the initiative to do the best job. And somebody's not telling you to do it, you're just doing it. So that's a benefit for you because it's teaching you to be accountable for yourself, and it's a benefit for your boss because if he has a hardworking employee, then the company's going to do better, he's going to look better, he's going to feel better. Everybody benefits from that, from you doing that. If you have a job, no matter what job it is, why wouldn't you just do the best job that you can and see what you can do better? Try to show up, be reliable. And here's a mindset: build the business with them. So many people go to work and they just want a paycheck. They just show up. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've had a job like this. I've had jobs like this where you just show up and you're like, all right, I'm getting paid for the hours. I'm here for a 7-hour shift. So I'm just going to try to stay out of everybody's way and just get through the day. If you actually treat the job like it's important, and if you actually look at the company and try to build the company by being a good employee and realizing your position at work and realizing that your role is important, no matter how menial the tasks at the job that you have seem, you're helping. They hired you for a reason. You're helping that business operate. So if you have that mindset of like, or if you actually just focus on building the business with them, that can put you on the good side of your boss. There's a really good book called Crucial Conversations. And in the book, they reference an example of the writers of the book basically went and studied this person who was highly regarded at work, this employee that everybody liked, that the boss liked. And they noticed that he didn't seem to do anything special. He was very quiet at work. But then in one meeting, all the employees were like, their feathers were getting ruffled. They were anxious. They were angry because the boss who was running the meeting was saying stuff like he was going to take more money. They were going to work harder. And this guy basically, when everybody else was just either sitting there all heated or making outbursts, he just said, excuse me, can I actually just look over something with you? Very respectfully asked if he could look over something with the boss, and the boss said, yeah. And then he just pointed out casually, with no emotion, I think it would actually be better for the company if, you did this instead of this, because then the employees would benefit and also save more time for you, or whatever. He said something like that. He said something that was fact-based, and the boss was like, oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out. A lot of people think that they can't disagree without some emotional outburst. But if you stick to fact, if you just point something out, like, hey boss, like, it's actually better for everyone if like this happens because of this, and you do it in a respectful way. I mean, read the book. It's called Crucial Conversations. I'm not that good at explaining what's in the book, but it's a very valuable book. I should probably reread it. All right. So that's basically it. It's really as simple as showing up and actually being like, all right, for these 7 hours, I can be part of building this business, or I can just get through and get my paycheck. And if you get through and get your paycheck, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be more expendable than if you show up and you take a conscious role in doing the best job you can for the company and for your boss, taking in like what they actually want and understanding what makes your boss happy at work. Because if you do that, you're more likely to get on your boss's good side, and also for you, you're training yourself to do a good job. If you can't do a good job at the shitty job that you have now that you don't like with your horrible boss, if you can't do a good job there, how are you going to do a good job at your dream job when you get it someday? Or when you work your way towards it, This is working your way towards that dream job. You're training yourself. Every single day when you show up to work, you're training yourself for the future. It's not like you're magically going to just become a hard worker as soon as you get the job that you love. Like, that job is going to be so much better and so much easier if you just focus on doing a good job now at whatever job that you have. If your reaction to this video to the title at least, was, oh fuck, I hate my boss, he's a dick, then this video is not for you. If it's intrigue, if you're intrigued by this video, then there's probably hope for you. If your reaction to this video is to take notes, then you're solid. Peace.